Kelly, and this is Round Trip with Colleen Kelly, your go to podcast for unforgettable travel stories, top tips, and all the adventures that you've been waiting for. And we're going to talk to Ralph Velasco. He is one of my good friends, been on the show before. He's going to talk to us about mindful travel. You are not going to want to miss this. I'm really excited. Love this guy. Hey, everybody. So we are back with one of my good friends, Ralph Velasco. He's been on several times before in our Chicago studio when it was radio, but now he's here and we get to see him in person. Ralph, it's so good to see you. I mean, I did like seeing you in person, but like actually seeing you and our viewers to see you. So I'm so excited to have you on the show. So thanks for being here.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to be back. I just love you guys.
I know, and so here's why he's on the show again. Ralph travels the world. I can't keep up with him. We finally got him at his home, and he's talking to us. But he travels the world and he writes books. And this is my dream, is to write a book. But you wrote a book called Bucket List. He sent this to me. Isn't that awesome? For travel. And my favorite part is the title. It says "Places to Go Before Your Knees Give Out." And I'm at the age where lots of friends are having knee surgery and things like that. So let's talk about you first of all. Tell people about you, Ralph, what you do, your brand Continental Drifter, so we can all of our new listeners can know more about you.
Sure. So for the past 17 years, I've been a location independent travel photographer and international tour organizer. And just this past May, I sort of semi retired. I call it pre retirement, where I'm just slowing down a little bit. 17 years of hardcore travel, 10 or 12 trips a year, starting to take its toll physically. So I'm going to slow down a little bit, but I'm going to still run and lead 2 or 3 trips a year instead of 10 or 12. But I'm also writing books now that I've been writing them all along, but I've got a new series called The Mindful and Intentional Traveler that I'm sure we'll talk about. But that bucket list for travel book is a part of that series.
And you travel, like this man, you guys travels the world. Like where do you go? And tell us about your tours, because you lead these tours for people that are just really immersive and I guess like mindful travel. Tell us about that, because I have not been on one and it's on my list.
Yeah,
I
you should
haven't.
come on a trip. I would love it. So my trips are tend to be like 6 to 10 people. The trips that I lead, I am organizing tours for people that want to go on their own with family or a couple or a small group, and I can put those trips together for people that I don't lead, but you get all the benefits. So that's another option for people. But yeah, the mindful and intentional travel is something that I've kind of been moving towards as I've gotten a little bit older, more mature, and so it's just about slowing down and taking in your environment more intentionally than just kind of going through these places. As a travel photographer, I'm the worst because I go to these
Oh,
wonderful places and I see them through the viewfinder of a camera. And yeah, I get some nice shots, and I've got all the receipts and the passport stamps that prove I was there. But sometimes I come back and I'm like, was I really there mentally? You know, I,
yeah, because we're all doing that. I mean, not even as a photographer, probably more so for you, but we all have our phones. And are we really, like you said, experiencing it, or are we just like taking shots for Instagram and so forth? Like it's interesting. So you're trying to get away from that as a photographer, because that's got to be hard.
Absolutely. And my first book that I wrote way back in 2009 was it was 101 tips for developing your photographic eye and more. And the last tip in the book, I said, put the camera down. And it really
Oh,
probably should have been the
none of
first
us
tip.
want to do that.
Yeah, it should have been the first tip in the book. Put the camera down because uh, that's no way to go through these amazing trips that we spend so much money on is with our eye to the viewfinder. Really
Yeah.
take the time to stop, look, listen, feel, touch, taste your surroundings. And this can be anywhere in the world. It doesn't have to be, on the other side of the world. It could be in your own backyard. But
Sure.
being intentional about being present because the past is behind us. We'll never get it back. The future never really comes. All we have is now. So, what are we going to do
Wow.
with it?
That is such a good tip. I went to a wedding recently, and everybody had to put their phones down for the ceremony, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" I mean, they had it was I think they had a basket that you had to put your phone in,
Oh
but
my,
it made you present, and like
yes.
you just said, you were not just sitting there and they had somebody that was recording it, so all good. But
Yeah,
I love this idea because I do feel like we are looking through, traveling, and whether that's, like you said, in your backyard or what have you, uh, it we're not we're not there. We're looking at it and taking these little videos and pictures, and we're just not experiencing it. But prior to all this, when like back in the day, we didn't have the camera, so we actually were present.
that's right.
So I love what you're doing. I think mindful travel is a great way to experience it. But then how do people balance that? Like they do want to take pictures and they do want to take video. So
Yeah, no
what
doubt.
what's your advice on that?
Yeah, and of course, I want to as well. It's just not making it the one and only priority of the trip. And I started out leading photo tours and workshops. So these were people that were coming on my trips specifically to do photography, and they were some pretty hardcore photographers. And I learned early on that that wasn't the type of trip I really wanted to lead. I thought it was initially, and they were fun, but I wanted it to be a good balance. I wanted it to be part cultural. I want to go and meet the people, get inside their homes, learn how they live, see how they work, share a cup of tea or a meal with them. That to me is what travel is about. And of course, I've always got my camera with me in the form of my iPhone these days. I don't even carry around a big boy camera anymore. I just use my smartphone.
Really?
Yeah. And,
Wow.
yeah, and, there's a trade-off there too. I don't get perhaps the quality shots that I might get otherwise, but I find that I'm much more mobile. I'm less perhaps intimidating to the subject. So, I'm just some guy with an iPhone that wants to snap a quick photo. I'm not some professional photographer with, 2 cameras and lights and all that kind of stuff. That tends to change the situation,
Does
change.
that help though? Because the people are used to like iPhones these days, so you can get some really great pictures without them feeling like, "Oh my god, there's
Yeah.
some guy with all these, like, cameras and so forth."
I
So
I
it has changed that way.
I think it changes the dynamic between you and the subject, because I you don't look like this professional photographer that's maybe intimidating to them. You're just some, average person taking a picture. So, that's been a big game changer with photography, I think.
I love this. I love the idea of mindful travel. I did find myself, not too long ago just doing too many videos for social media or so forth, and I was kind of missing out on I went with my family. So, it's kind of missing out on a lot of moments, and I figured that out, luckily. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm just recording everything for what? For the future? I'm not actually here." So, I love that, and
Yeah, and excuse me if I may interrupt,
Good.
but I was on a trip with a friend of mine last year, my best friend, and he was much of the time just recording what we were doing, like walking down the street and like doing Facebook lives with his family back home and stuff. And it was great that he wanted to share the trip with these other people, but he was always really back there, back home, sharing these pictures with them. And to me, it took me out of my presence, just standing next to him as he's like recording himself walking down the streets of Bilbao, Spain. So we got to be more mindful about that, and I recommend setting a timer for yourself every hour, 2 hours during the day that it reminds you to just stop, put the camera down, look, listen, feel, touch, taste, smell your surroundings, and take it all in. To me, that's so important.
and what kind of timer is that? Like, what would you suggest for
Ju
me when I
just
go out?
I mean, how long or what
Yeah,
kind of timer to use? I mean, obviously your
yes,
phone, you would just use your phone, but, yeah,
right.
an hour or 2, maybe an hour or 2 for you, probably every 15 minutes. Uh,
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. No,
I know they're on me for my social media. I need to, like, do more, and I don't do enough. I mean, at all, really. Yeah, that's okay, so just to put a little timer, say, "I'm gonna do this for 10 minutes," and then we're good. We're just gonna be here and be present.
it gives you a reset, it reminds you, "Oh, I gotta stop," and, because we go through life, we can't possibly take in everything we're seeing, feeling, touching, tasting, all at the same time. We can only I'm a multitasker, and I have a feeling you are too, Colleen. You always want to be doing three or four things because you want to make the most of your time, right? But then we're not doing any of them well. And
Oh, that is so true.
yes, it
Ask my
really is when you
producer,
think,
Megan.
excuse me?
She's probably like, ask our producer, Megan. You're
Yeah.
right. I'm like, I'm all over the board half the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and I'm doing like 1 for 5 minutes, 1 for 5 minutes, and I agree with you. You're not doing it like well and
Mm.
focused. So now I'm gonna start doing that, Ralph, because I'm gonna start
And
thinking more.
yeah, you should.
Yeah,
I think about it. An example for me is when I'm sitting in front of the TV, I'm eating lunch, I'm on my phone, and I'm trying to
oh,
listen to what's on the TV, and I'm not doing any of them well. I'm not enjoying the food that I'm having. I'm not, really consuming the show that I'm watching. I'm not doing anything well, and I'm just going through the motions. And I enjoy food. I come from a restaurant background. I make food a big part of our trips. But if you're going through this wonderful meal, but you're not really there, it's kind of a waste of a meal,
right.
don't you think?
Yeah, and you probably gain more weight, I'm guessing, because 'cause
Yeah,
you're
that's
just
probably it.
eating it. No,
Yeah,
you're right, and like, in Europe, I know like, in France, they sit there and they actually enjoy their
yeah.
meal. They talk to people, and I mean, this couldn't be all French people, but they enjoy their meal, and and they taste it. Like you said, I think we're all just running on I don't know, running on empty, like, all different directions. So, I love the idea of being mindful. You also, from what I hear, eat less, which would be good. But there's yeah, I love this. This is what we should be doing when we're traveling, just being mindful. The other thing that you also mentioned was pre-retirement, and that's I've not heard that before. I
I think
love
I
that.
just
You
made
need
it
to
up. I don't know.
trademark
I'm
that,
sure
by the
someone
way.
else said it.
Trademark it. It's good. Yeah,
Retirement.
let's talk about that. What do you mean by that? Because I mean, obviously, we that I can understand what that means, but you're just saying do it now before you retire. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's kind of a transition between what I would consider full retirement, where I'm not working at all, because I still plan to travel, lead some trips. I want to write my books, do speaking engagements, podcasts like this. I want to keep active, of course, but it's not all the grind and the hustle, and so I
Mhm.
want to slow down so that I can start being more mindful and just intentional with my life and what's left of it. Um, I'm 62 years old, and I'm getting a little bit older, and we're all getting older, and I just am appreciating life and slowing down and not trying to do so many things and so many things not really well. So as I mature, get older, more wise, I want to slow down, take more things in, and make the best of what I hope are maybe 30 years left. But who knows how much time we really have? So
Yeah.
what are we going to do with it? And to me, that's just a question I think that comes with age.
Yeah, yeah, obviously, we when we were younger, they'd be like, "Oh, life is short." And you'd be like, "Oh, yeah." And now you're like, "Oh, wait, it actually is short."
Yeah, I
How
mean,
much time do we have? And
yeah,
we only have today. We only have today,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Hopefully we both have much more. Okay, there's something else you talked about, traveling deep. Wait, traveling deep, not wide.
yeah.
What is that? No,
That's
sorry. My iPad just
that's
went
right.
out with my notes.
That's right. No,
Could you
travel
explain that?
deep, not
Yeah.
wide. Yeah, travel deep, not wide is kind of a new theme that I've been living by. And that's just doing a deep dive into a place as opposed to just touching the surface of a lot of places. And I'll put that into context of my job, which is organizing and leading tours. So initially, we were doing trips that, say to Morocco, 14-day trip to Morocco, where we might go to 6 different locations, moving around every 2 or 3 nights. Where now a lot of my trips are more 7, 8 days in one place, where we might stay in one, maybe 2 locations and do a deeper dive into it. It's more pack and unpack once, so we're not spending a lot of time doing that, checking in and out of hotels, getting from one place to another. But instead, we do it one time, and now we've got more time to just do a hub and spoke where we can go from our hotel to local villages and sites nearby that instead of spending all that time driving and packing and unpacking. So it's that deeper dive. I think sometimes we were talking about hotels earlier, where I think that we have this thing where we just can't wait to get out of the hotel. We feel like we're wasting time if we stay at the hotel. And so I've tried to start creating my trips around the hotel itself, where the hotel is a destination. It might be an 11th century castle in the south of France with 270 acres of grounds and places like a
Mm.
museum or a wine estate, or an old family villa, where you may not want to leave the hotel all the time. The hotel is part of the trip. So to me, that's a really important distinction.
I love that because when I was in my 20s, I just, like, had to hit every single thing, and I was exhausted, but I had more energy then too, so that
Exactly.
helped.
Yep.
But I love the idea of just actually doing a deep dive, like you said, and unpacking a couple times and really experiencing the culture, and I do believe too, Ralph, that the hotel is part of it, especially if you have a castle. I mean, you don't wanna just I had a friend that just went on this big tour, and she stayed on in these beautiful locations, and they never really stayed in the hotel. They were
Yep.
going, going, going. So she's like, "We had these great hotels, but I really only saw the bed,
Hmm.
and the bathroom,
Yep.
and that was it." So I love the idea of just getting into the culture and not going, 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 going. Um, okay, so that comes down to my other question. How did the idea for the Mindful and Intentional Traveler series come, which is, this book that I've got right here? And why did you choose to include bucket lists for travel in this series? Like, why is that important for you?
Yeah. So
Does that make sense?
the Mindful and Intentional Traveler series started out with a book called 60 Gratitudes for Travel. And so it was a list of gratitudes. I thought if someone could do one a day for 2 months, 60 gratitudes, had notes, adult coloring pages, things like that in it. The next one was a travel activities book where there was more things like word searches, crossword puzzles, mazes, mandalas, adult coloring pages, pages for writing notes, interesting travel quotes, inspirational quotes, and also a list of gratitudes, and affirmations. And then this book, I decided to, in between, I wrote another one called How to Be a Mindful Traveler Using Your Five Plus Senses. And that's where I talked earlier about, stopping, smell, touch, taste, feel your surroundings. But I recently added the Bucket List for Travel book, which is a book that I've wanted to write for a long time. I thought there was a place in the market for a book where you could actually physically check off every country you've been to, state that you've visited, national parks, UNESCO World Heritage sites, but also activities like bungee jumping, base jumping, things like that. And then gastronomic experiences as well. Um, I've eaten tarantula in Cambodia and putrefied shark.
What?
Yep, yep. I was hungry. What could I say? Uh,
You must have been very hungry. I don't know how hungry I would be. Wait, say that again. You ate tarantula where?
in Cambodia, yeah, it's a
Oh,
thing.
is it a
Uh,
delicacy there? or
No,
just
I don't
put
know
them
about a
over hot?
delicacy, but it was left over from the war and people just, eating what they could, getting protein from where they could. And so it's something it's obviously an exotic thing, especially for us, but, I just had to try it. But, gastronomic
Wow.
experiences like that, different, types of drinks and foods and places around the world that have these incredible, food cultures. So the book was meant to physically, tick off the items on your list and, to keep track. But it's also meant not only to, for you to, maybe brag a little bit about the places that you've been to, but also to inspire you to go to other places, like learn about new places to go. There's fun facts, things like that. But it's a fun little book that I really enjoyed putting together.
I love it because, for all of you listeners and our friends out there, you've got, like, this part, it says intention, right? It says intention. What am I truly here to experience? I love that because it makes you think, "Okay, why am I actually here? Why am I in, Wisconsin? Why am I in, Paris?" Whatever,
Mhm.
and then you've got it because it makes you think, like, "Why did I come here? What am I looking for? Am I looking to meet the people, the food?" It kind of centers you, which I think is great, and then I like checklists. I
Yeah.
mean, I like to, like,
Well,
check
who doesn't
now,
love checklists?
that's a lot of countries, though, Ralph,
190
to
some.
check
Yeah.
off.
Mhm. Yep.
That's a
Which
lot, but I could check
yeah.
a couple. Yeah, oh, there's more on the other side,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that makes it fun, and then you've got, this is a very good easy read. All of us, like you just said, are very distracted these days, so
Yes.
this is very easy. You've got, like, fun facts, and I love that, and then different countries, and you can go to Europe, like, you know, so yeah, really love it, and then you can also color. It says grab your colored pencils, and I think that's good if you're on a train or plane.
Yeah, you
We
could
like to
color in
color
the
these days.
countries on the maps, or you could, there's also mandalas and other, like, frames around some of the pages. It's good for just mindfulness and mindlessness, I suppose, and, keeping you busy sitting on an airplane or in a, bus station or something. But it's a physical book that people can and it's small enough to take with you.
Yes, I love it. It's easy read, like, you don't have to go chapter to chapter, you can just kind of
It's not a
pull
novel,
up one
that's
thing.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and just say, "What am I truly seeing or am I just looking?" That's a good quote.
Yeah. I've always said that I wanted to come up with an actual presentation, about, the difference between looking and seeing, especially as a photographer, we look at things, but are we seeing them? And that's intention.
Yeah.
I think the difference between looking and seeing is intention. Think
So
about it.
you are yeah, you're just if you're just looking at this monument, are you actually seeing it?
Yeah, are you
Like, and
focusing?
taking it in, and
Yeah,
the history,
mm,
and so forth? Or are you just kinda looking, taking a picture, and then moving on to the next thing? Is
exactly.
that what you mean?
And that's what yeah, exactly what I mean, and I think 90% of us would just take the picture, walk away, we'll look at it later, but Jesus, we're right there, we've got this thing, we could
Right.
touch it, maybe, you can really experience, so we go through life, we walk down the street and we're kinda looking at everything, but we're looking at nothing at the same time,
Wow.
so intention means you're kind of focusing, you're seeing it.
That's interesting. So I love that. Okay, so what about people that have big travel dreams, but they kind of feel stuck, whether it's financially, emotionally, logistically? What advice would you have for people who like want to finally start crossing things off their bucket list, but they're like, I don't, how do I do this?
Yeah. Well, it's, to work with this book, it's a matter of traveling the world if you want to start ticking off the bucket, the countries, but there's a lot of local things too. You'll find things, wherever you live, you'll find some things to tick off. And, and not everyone has an interest in traveling around the world. It's not easy. It's not inexpensive, but you can do these things. You can be mindful and intentional in your own home, in your own backyard. It doesn't require traveling halfway around the world. It's just that when you do, or if you have that opportunity, uh, be intentional about it. Be intentional in everything in life, I think.
I think that's a really good tip. Like you said, you don't have to travel the world. Just be intentional. Maybe you go out to the restaurant
Mm.
with a couple of friends, and you're just there and present with them instead of, oh, let's look at the take a picture of the food. Everybody does that.
Actually
You
tastes
if it's good food, I guess. But
good.
I think we've had enough pictures of food in my opinion. But,
Yeah.
yeah, you're present with those people. And even like you said, you may not travel the world, but I live in Chicago. I was just talking to somebody in Wisconsin, which is like an hour and a half from here. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, there's this amazing park up there, state park, and it has all this history. In fact, dinosaurs apparently roamed in Wisconsin at some point. But you don't have to travel the world. You can just go on a short little getaway or like just that you said, be present just in your life with
Yes.
people. I think it comes down to people, wouldn't you say? Eh, and animals, dogs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a dog lover,
Uh,
but just
yeah,
being present is such a good thing because we are all so distracted.
big time. And these phones that are we all have are meant to take us away. They're meant to take us away from where we are, and they're great for that. They're unbelievable. You're sitting there watching a TV show, and you wanna look up, someone's net worth or, what other TV shows they've been in. You go to your phone, but they are made
Yeah.
to take us away from where we are, and so that's why I say put the camera, put the phone, the device away, down, leave it back at the hotel, and
What?
get out there and
Leave it
live,
back at the hotel.
right? Yeah, it's easier said than done. Do what I say, not what I do.
It's true though. I obviously everybody in the entire world has a phone. I'm sure some people don't and they're present, but we've got our head down and
Mm.
we're not there. We're not there for people. We're not there for, travel. We're not there for experiencing things. So this is really good. Sometimes you need a reset and somebody to say to you, no, 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 put it down and actually be there. So that's what I love about you, Ralph. Like you're just very like you talk about mindful travel and how you used to travel a lot and go, 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 go. And now you're like, okay, just be present. So I love the fact that you're here talking to people, all of our listeners out there, and reminding us, including me, that I've gotta stop and just be present,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, like you said, when I was younger, it was about seeing as many places as possible and ticking them off of my mental bucket list or whatever the list was. Now I don't even count countries anymore. I don't even think I have no idea how many countries I've been to. Um, But, I do like the idea of ticking off the items and maybe getting inspiration for other places to go to, and that's what I think that this book can do.
Okay, so let's switch that narrative because you have been everywhere and, more countries than I've been. And all of us know, okay, Paris, London, like a lot of us Americans, right? But what are some unexpected or lesser known destinations? Because you've told us about it in the past, that should be on more people's bucket list instead of like, sorry, Paris is fine, but like, the places like they really should go to that is not, there's not so many tourists and it's, well, you tell us.
Yeah. So, I mean, every place has Paris is wonderful, but I like to get outside of Paris and go to the secondary, main cities in a place, like in Portugal, it might be Porto instead of Lisbon. In Spain, it's Sevilla or even Segovia, Toledo instead of Madrid, perhaps. So going to those more secondary cities. But I also, as far as some specific places, I always talk about the Republic of Georgia. It's a wonderful country over by Armenia, Russia, Turkey. Absolutely fantastic. Great food, very inexpensive by most standards, and just an incredible history. Armenia, another country. Antarctica, if you have the means to get down there, absolutely incredible. I've been,
Really?
yeah.
What do you do in Antarctica?
Oh my gosh. So I
I mean,
start,
it's a
yeah, I start doing trips
little
down
cold.
there as of last year, and it's outstanding. And be honest with you, I wasn't that am thinking about, oh yeah, I got to go to Antarctica because I just thought it's just ice and water and not a whole lot, maybe some wildlife, but it was phenomenal. And the ship that we went on, we spent 5 nights. It was only 67 passengers, so really small, smallest in the industry. We fly down instead of sailing across the notoriously rough Drake Passage. So that's really wonderful. You're there in less
That
than
could be kinda rough, that little the Drake Passage, for those of you that don't know, it's, you can go there by ship, but it's really like that, right? So you fly in instead of going
yeah.
through that.
Yes, it's either called the Drake Lake because it's flat, which sometimes it can be, but or the Drake Shake, and, it's where 3 major oceans come together, and they don't like each other, and the ships can rock a lot, and
Oh,
one
I've
of the
seen some videos.
yes, one of
Yeah.
the guys on my last trip, it was his 2nd attempt to get to Antarctica because someone on his previous attempt died on the ship. Yeah, sailing down. He must have been in the corridor of the ship while it was rocking and got hit against the side of the wall or something. Got a head
Mm.
injury. So they didn't make it down to Antarctica because they had to turn the ship around. So this guy came back again with me. But flying down in less than 2 hours on a proper airplane is fantastic.
Alright, I have to put that on my list. I have several friends that have done Antarctica, and, definitely on my list. And let's go back again to Georgia and Armenia, because you have talked about Georgia, especially, every time I've seen you, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I need to go there." And
Yeah.
plus you said it's less expensive. All these cities are so expensive these days because they're over touristed. Is that a
One of the
word?
first times we met, Colleen, was at a Georgian restaurant in New York City, remember?
Yeah, I do. That's where I think that was the first time we met, right?
It
Maybe?
was. Yeah,
Yeah. You had all of us, travel people meet at
yeah.
this Georgian restaurant. Never been to a Georgian restaurant before. Um, Unbelievable food. Loved it,
Talk
and I learned so much.
talk about price, the price I mentioned how inexpensive it is. So we're in New York City, we went to this place, we got 4, hinkali, these little dumplings for $16, $4
Ooh.
each, and in Georgia, they're 40 cents each.
Wait, what? Well, we were in New York City, so that kind of
Exactly, yeah,
explains
they're
that. But
$4.
wow,
Yeah, it was
really? So is it still, a really good price in Georgia?
I would think so.
Like,
Haven't been there in a couple of years, but the price is very reasonably priced. Taxi across town is $1.50, and the food very inexpensive. I was dating this girl there, and we went out to a museum, or we went to a movie Friday night, late night movie, 10:30, where you go a new release where you sit in those big chairs and you can drink beer and stuff and order food.
yeah,
And
very expensive in Chicago.
they would normally be very
Oh, yeah.
expensive. So 2 tickets, Friday night movie, new release. I had a popcorn and a beer, she had a water, $11
Oh.
for the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, it would have been $11 for a beer and the more than that.
Oh my gosh. I'm booking my trip to Georgia.
Yeah,
I'm actually going over to Europe in October. I may have to make that little side hustle.
yes.
Where do you get into Georgia? Where would you fly into for people that are like me? I never thought of Georgia before till you
Yeah,
told me.
wonderful. It's,
Where would they go?
Tbilisi is the capital, Tbilisi.
So you fly right into there, Tbilisi,
Yeah,
and you get to see beautiful architecture and it's amazing food and,
yeah. The
uh,
city itself,
your
Tbilisi.
pocketbook.
Yeah, so Tbilisi's
Wow.
from about the 500s. It's got a lot of different, religions that have lived there, a lot of culture, very old architecture, but very modern as well. A lot they say it's the oldest wine culture in the world, like 8,000 years old. They found, wine, uh, artifacts. Great food. It's all local, fresh, plenty of it. Oh my god, it's just wonderful.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You should, like, work for them because 'cause you've been, like in a good way. You, really opened my world to the country of Georgia, and, again, I like the idea of finding those places that maybe I mean, people have found it, but I feel like maybe they're just not, on that tourist radar yet, at least in America, and it
Mhm.
makes it that much more special. But you have to be present when you go, and you have to put down your phone, or maybe leave it at the hotel, which I'm still having a hard time with that one. but I don't know if I could
Put
do
it
that.
deep in your purse at least,
Okay, down at the bottom. Yeah,
so
I love it. Okay, so where can people find out more for information about you, Ralph? Because Ralph is fantastic. He's got tours, he has books. Tell us all about where everybody can find you.
Sure. So the hub of everything for me is continentaldrifter.co. And you could find me on the socials. A lot of them are at Ralph Velasco. My books are all on Amazon, and perhaps you could put some links in the show notes to those. But you could find the Mindful and
Yeah.
Intentional Traveler series there. And what else? That's about it. But yeah, I do some private tour planning for people that are looking to maybe travel with a spouse or a family or a small group. So if you're interested in going to some of the places that I've been and have contacts, reach out. Just go to continentaldrifter.co.
And I've known this guy for a while, and I just said Ralph Velasco. Did I just say that? It's Velasco, everybody.
Velasco, yeah. A lot of people say that. Yeah.
Yeah, so at Ralph Velasco, and again, you can get his, book on Amazon or on Kindle. I like the physical book because you can color in it, so I would definitely suggest this. But I love having you on, Ralph. It's awesome. We have to see each other in person, and I'm so glad all of you out there are getting to know Ralph because we're gonna have him back on again, and hopefully all of you are just kind of got a little nugget out of this of mindful travel and, yeah, just being present, eh, whether it's with your friends or on a trip. So, Ralph, thank you for making me think about that again.
My
I'm
pleasure. My
yeah,
pleasure.
I'm gonna get on my phone now while I'm talking to you. No, I'm
Thanks.
gonna be present. I'm gonna be present. Okay, everybody, that was amazing to talk to Ralph. He is reminding me to be more mindful. I hope he's doing that for you as well. Put down those phones and actually just be present, because that's what life's about, right? Anyway, thanks for listening to Round Trip. For more inspiration, follow us at Round Trip Colleen Kelly on all socials. You can also visit roundtripcolleenkelly.com for more information and travel articles. And if you'd like to get in touch, reach us at roundtripcolleenkelly@gmail.com. And finally, if you like what you hear, please comment, follow, subscribe, and just hang out with us. We love having you here.